Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Heel Hookers podcast, episode 146. And we are back with the last real big weekend in MMA for 2024. We had one championship, one Fight Night 26, UFC 310, whole bunch of good stuff, and some sad stuff to talk about. We got to get to it all, but just so many good fights to get to for this one. Before we do all that, like and subscribe if you enjoy all this stuff we be pumping out. 2 podcasts every week, Monday, Wednesday. Let's go. Yes.
Huh. Sorry, I just had a moment. Topology just fucked me up, okay?
And what's going on here?
Okay, yeah, sorry. Because it starts with what we were going to get into anyway with Christian Lee. I was just very confused at Topology stating that Alibeg won the belts. Because I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then I saw that it also says that Christian Lee first consecutive title defense. So I was like, okay, this is just Topology fucking up. And I don't think he... Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
You are good. But with that, as you said, we got Christian Lee to talk about because he was the main event. One Fight Night 26 was supposed to be fighting on the Atlanta, Georgia card in November. But then they just pulled that shit from America. They switched so many things up. And we ended up with him headlining this event, which in all reality, when we saw that event getting put together, it was like, okay, like, what the fuck are you going to do for your other events in the months coming up? You are literally putting like 5 headliners on one card. That's not really something one can afford to do a lot.
Yeah.
Either way, we end up with this fight on this card. Christian Lee returning after a 2-year hiatus. We know everything. We don't got to be like one championship and talk about it for 25 minutes every single time Christian Lee is brought up. At this point, we were just ready for his return, ready to see how he can compete and perform back under the bright lights inside of the either the cage or the ring. Taking on interim champ 14-0 undefeated Alibeg Razulov. He looked very solid in his interim title fight against Okra Yoon. Was not the most impressive in terms of just like being able to do a whole bunch, but was able to grab the clinch a lot, kind of just nullify a lot of what Okra Yoon did. Easily won that fight over 5 rounds. Just a very solid fighter overall. Definitely a bit worried about how the grappling could go for this one. Just knowing that Christian Lee is a finisher, just assuming that he was still going to be able to get it done. Just all of like 26 years old with a 2-year layoff, and he has 17 wins in one. You know, like he has been doing such great things from such a young age. And I was surprised with some things in this one, but also still impressed. Christian Lee won it. Bro, like when he is able to just like put some shots together and touch his opponents, it affects them.
Yeah, the very first jab that Christian Lee landed on Alibeg, which is pretty early into the first round, you seen him stumble back, like that hurt him. Jab.
Yeah, it was just like, oh man, like is it gonna go this fast? You know what I mean? It definitely had that moment. But the one thing that I was definitely the most surprised about, which as soon as we started to realize it, it was like, oh yeah, we kind of should have thought about this more. And because you brought it up, like, you know,
in between rounds 1 and 2 with Christian's cardio, because it's like, yes, he's 17-4. He is 11 KO wins, 5 submission wins, 1 decision win. With that, oh yeah, that is right. Okay, sorry. I was like, that doesn't equal 17. It does. But it's like, so he got a 4th round finish one time. He went to a 5-round decision one time. But majority of his
1/3 round finish, right?
Yeah, in 1/3 round.
Yeah.
But majority of his wins are first round with a couple of sprinkles of the second round. And like we said, 1/3 round, 1/4 round, 1 5-round decision. So he's shown that he can go there and do that. But with the 2 years off and just the jitters of coming back after the emotional tolls of everything, like, you know what I mean? That's something that definitely by the first round, we watched him just taking his deep breaths, and it was like, oh shit, is this gonna become problematic later on in the rounds if he doesn't get Alibeg out of there?
Yeah.
But it's not something I remember seeing from him in other fights. So I really think that it kind of came down to it being his first fight back in 2 years and just everything and like the returning jitters and whatever.
Yeah. People always talk about the adrenaline dump, you know? Like, I'm sure it wasn't necessarily like adrenaline, but more of just the emotion.
I was going to say the anxiety. Like, yeah, for sure.
Oh,
because, you know, Christian Lee looked good in there. He was touching him up. He couldn't really get the grappling off. Alibeg was doing really good to defend the grappling.
Yes.
But then it was like by like the second round, like Christian obviously still landing good shots, looking like he could get him out of there. But Ali Beg started getting his own shots together a little bit more.
Yep.
But then there was the unintentional eye poke, which ultimately ended the fight in the 3 seconds left in the second round. Very anticlimactic ending.
Oh yeah.
But I personally accepted it right away because of what I was seeing from Christian. I was like, you know what? This was a good little return to get the ring rust off. Let's get the fucking rematch, you know, as soon as they can. And I think we're going to get a much better performance. Not that he showed anything bad. It was just like I said, I think that there was an emotional dump that affected his cardio that I think it'll be better, a lot better the second time around.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Because because I said it leading into it where it's like going into that main event in MMA fights in general, there are few times, and it's far and few in between, where I am that like just actually stressed and that just emotional heading into a fight. I have never felt those kind of feels for a fight outside of the UFC ever in my life. Yeah. The feels going into that one and the nerves and just wanting him to perform, not lose, just so many emotions, and for it to end like that, it really was just such like that was just terrible emotionally for me. Like it, because like I agree with you where it was like that was easily the best thing for him, but fuck did that just leave like a hole inside of me. And like even till fucking Saturday going into the UFC, I was like, bro, I just don't care about anything. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, like it definitely is just one of those things where it's like it's the main event, it's a huge fight, and it sucks how it ends. But I definitely was able to find that silver lining soon, and I'm really not trying to give any hate towards Christian Lee right now. I fucking love him, and I super understand where there could have been an issue a little bit with the cardio, and that's why like I'm excited for the rematch because I think that everything he showed is just going to be tenfold. You know, like I think he's going to look really good.
Yeah, because it's like just all of his shots were just looking real good going to like that step up left high kick a lot, getting real close on it. Like you said, second round, Razulov really started to like find the timing of Christian Lee a bit more. And when just like Lee wasn't expecting it, getting that right hand over the top of the left, like he definitely has to keep that up a little bit better. Just, or maybe with the rematch and, with everything talking about going into a next fight, like he might just have the timing and understanding of Razulov a bit better, might be able to react on them more and not get his touch with as many. But overall, it was definitely just a solid performance for Christian Lee. Was easily winning that fight, up until the eye poke. But I do agree that it is probably the best. Just get that little bit of time in and just rebook it and just
because also
get going to his career.
With all of that, it is still a little disappointing because it's like it's Christian Lee. I do trust that even if he was getting a little tired, he would have pushed through and he still probably could have gotten a late finish. Like I don't think it would have just went completely downhill, but I am excited for whenever this rematch happens.
No, I agree with that.
Hopefully first quarter 2025. Don't think that there should be too much of a reason to get too long of a delay on this one. So let's see when they get that done. Was surprising that they did have another title fight on this card. Was not the co-main event though. Co-main event was Kong Thorney taking on number 4 ranked Nakrob Fairtex. Kong Thorney came up through like the Friday fights and just winning a lot of those fights and everything. So him getting UD over Nakrob, just a very big moment for him. Just a good fight too. Always pushing forward, good shots, and just just good for him. Nice little mention on that.
Yeah, Nakrob was beat up after that.
Oh yeah, the
100%.
differences in their face with just that right side of Nakrob was all beat up. But going to the second title fight on the card, submission grappling, Atomweight title, Mesa Bastos looking to defend it in the rematch against Danielle Kelly. Kelly definitely looking a little bit better in this one compared to the first match. But
she was definitely more willing to engage and more immediately, but it seemed as the match went on and she was not getting anything going that she kind of reverted to her old game plan of the last one of like, let me get out and try to get back in, but she couldn't pass Mesa's guard. Mesa has a beautiful guard. She is really good. And then she secured the win with getting the catch in the last like 10 seconds with, I couldn't really see if it was
the heel hook or a straight ankle lock.
I was going to say, I couldn't tell if it was the knee or heel, but I thought it was the heel. But either way, just securing the win. But either way, I thought that she was just doing the better things. When it came to 100%. Getting better position, she was able to actually get belly. I don't even remember. I know she had side control. I know she had knee on belly. She was just able to actually get real positions. As to where when Danielle was on top, it was her just floating, trying to find something until Mesa ended up reversing. Danielle Kelly always has that natural, like aggressive feel to her. Like she will definitely go into it and push the aggressivity. But she just can't get anything going against Mesa, man.
No,
that doesn't win a grappling match.
It's like you said, she cannot pass her guard like that. It's just
It's that simple. Like,
Yeah.
if you cannot pass someone's guard, you can't get into real positions, which means you're not able to get any catches, any of this, unless like you get it in a scramble where they're trying to, get up under you and then you try and get something. But
Yeah.
when you can't pass someone's guard, it just makes jiu-jitsu so much fucking harder on yourself.
Yeah. Just literally can't get in a position to do everything. I think it was like in the last 2 minutes or something, there was at one point where she was like standing above her and I was just waiting for her to try and jump over for something. Did a little attempt. Again, still nothing at all. Bastos is just amazing floating off of her back, keeping her legs in place. So yeah, Kelly can't get anything. And like you said, secured it with in all reality, just the knee on belly, like the 2 or 3 times that she got it throughout it, easily the most dominant positions throughout that fight, like the match. I feel like you had to give it to her based off that, and then got the catch, easily secure that, and that was it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying with the securing, because a lot of people like to watch grappling and not fully understand exactly what's going on, so they watch someone being aggressive versus someone that's on their back or maybe just getting these certain positions but not looking as like, oh, I got to get this, and they're like, well, she was being more aggressive, so she won, and it's like, that's not how it works. So I'm just glad she got the catch. I know the judges are much better, but just so like even in the fans' eyes, it's like, no, respect her. I've said it leading up to the first fight, and I said it leading up to this one in the rematch, that it's like Mesa is very accredited in grappling. She has done her thing, and she's just done much more than Danielle Kelly. Like, you got to give it to her.
It's like you saying that, it makes me think of like when Aljo did the Fury match or whatever against like the Brazilian guy, and like he was just like, oh, he was just butt scooting whatever, like he didn't do like anything, and it's like, just because like you're being aggressive and trying to pass guard, if you can't pass the guard, you're not doing anything in the match. Like you don't. But so yeah, good for Bastos to just cement herself as the champion in that division. We'll see who one ends up pulling in to just have her defend the title, but hopefully if they can find someone that is just a little bit better, maybe guard passing, we can get a little bit more action out of a grappling match. Next quick one, interim champion at strawweight 4-1 championship, Jared Brooks. He was moving up to flyweight for this one, 135 pounds for them. It was just kind of surprising seeing that he was moving up in the division, but I guess one of those things of just waiting for that unification bout, not having any fights, was just like, let me just get in there. Taking on Reyes McLaren, definitely my biggest takeaway from this one is Jared Brooks is really a strawweight in one championship. Like,
bro, he is so small. It's like, I know we look at people like Pantoja, Joshua Van, 5'5", like, oh wow, they're small flyweights. Dude is 5'3" with a 62-inch reach. Dude is a strawweight.
And
straight up.
And because it's like always gonna be like shorter and like have the Reyes disadvantage, but it's like even in strawweight he's very physical. Like with the last one, like just picking dudes up and slamming them all around. His grappling is really good in the division. Couldn't get much going at all, and just kind of getting beat up against Reyes McLaren over the 3 rounds because just did not have that physicality at all. But so that would just kind of suck for Jared, but like I said, still the interim champ, so probably just get that unification shot whenever it is available. Dennis Puric, so insanely tough, fights the same way all the time, going forward, bombs, looking for that action, and taking on Elias Mahmoudi in this one. I was not really sure how this was gonna go for him, and Elias was looking really good throughout that, and then what was it, 2 or 3 seconds? 2 seconds left in the 3rd round. Lands that knee, follows up with punches, sits Dennis down, cannot get back up and get his feet underneath him. They call it, and that, oh man, that was so sad to see him get put away in the closing seconds of that bout.
Yeah, it really was. I feel like, like, I don't know, maybe just the damage accumulating. And then when it comes to Elias Mahmoudi, it's like, I know that he has, not the greatest record, but that was definitely going back a couple of years. He's only 26 years old. He's lost 1 split decision, 2 majority decisions, a technical decision, and then like a couple others. It's that guy. I feel like he's actually grown into his size now at this point, that now he's like actually has the power to get them out of here. Because now, 3 fight winning streak, 3 finishes, and this one being Dennis Puric, who even Rodtang going to war with him didn't put him out. Like, I don't think he's getting his shit together.
It's just like, bro, as soon as the fight started, front kick to the face, like, it was one of those things where it's like, so many times you see big size differences, especially in one with like Muay Thai and stuff, but like the smaller guy can get in there, just get the shots going.
It was
but
5'5" to 5'10", 64-inch reach to a 70-inch reach.
It just,
the size showed.
Too much for Dennis in this one. That just good for Mahmoudi getting it done though. Definitely the biggest win of his career, and so yeah, we'll see what happens with him moving on. I know the next real one that I was impressed with on ONE is Shamil Gasanov, man.
Yeah.
This dude, 155 pounds, so featherweight division, and just one of those, 155, man. Just that weight class, but around there, and obviously, you know, like 45, 70, you still get it, but like so many amazing grapplers coming out of, because he is from Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fighting out of that same camp, actually.
Yep.
Probably the same place, but you know, don't know if his actual camp. You just assume that is probably the Habib Islam camp. But just an amazing fighter, man. His grappling is off the charts. I was expecting just a very good back and forth between this fight with Shamil and Halil Amir, and he just dominated this fight. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, because it's like Halil was doing all of the right things technically to try to get out and do what he needed to do, but he couldn't get it done.
Nah.
Shamil was just better.
Yeah.
Like, it was, very good from him.
Just like fucking, yeah, man. It's just one of those things where it's like the ability to just keep positions and like, you know, just the back or whatever, just in like just wacky exchanges. It was just so good that it's like, yeah, his one loss being a first round knee bar to Garry Tonin. It's like an amazing BJJ grappler.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
I was gonna say it makes sense, you know, someone that's like in there and is like, nah, I know how to do different things. It's not just wrestling. I got my grappling.
Yeah.
And yeah, that knee bar was nasty.
Yeah, but he is a problem in this division. And I saw that on the broadcast that Tong Lee, or sorry, Tong Kai had a his title defense coming up. I forget who he was fighting and when, but it's like
I'm pretty sure on the January card.
I think so.
So do I.
But either way, it's like if he retains, you know, like just gets it done, I am very interested to see him taking on Shamil Gasanov.
Yeah, he's fighting Akbar Abdullaev January 10th.
Gotcha. But yeah, so that just another, should be good. Definitely excited to see how that one plays out.
Hell yeah.
If we get there.
I'm sure we will.
Last real thing, very sad. Shinya Aoki got subbed with heel hook.
Yeah.
Very early on into 225 of their match. That was just very sad to see.
Yeah. Shinya 41 years old now. Been doing this shit for so long, and just back and forth from grappling and MMA and just whatever. Like,
yeah, all his problems with 1-2 that he's been having. It just, I wonder, just one of those things, just trying to get out of his contract potentially and just move on, like retire. I don't know, but
overall pro MMA record 48-11. Beautiful.
It's just incredible, man.
It's just crazy that. Oh my god, so sad. 9 of those losses are knockouts.
Yeah.
Be like that.
Yep.
It'd be like that.
Let's go. That is the last Amazon Prime card this year for ONE Championship. Very good and solid overall, but definitely some sadness on there and just a little bit lackluster ending in the main event. But if they can seemingly keep their shit together better than PFL has been, they might have a decent year next year with some good fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they might get some new people on their roster.
Oh my god, yeah.
I've just seen somebody was actually released. I can't remember who it is now.
From PFL?
Yeah. PFL Bellator. But he's a bit older. He's 37 years old. I don't know why I can remember his age. I can see his face. I can't think of his name.
Same.
But either way, so with that, it's like, you know, being 37, like UFC, you know what I mean? Like, but ONE Championship, it might be taking a guy.
No, yeah. Man, there's going to, in the next year or two, there's going to be a lot of fighters looking to leave Bellator, so.
They got 2 champions openly talking about release me, so whatever.
Yep.
On to UFC.
Another conversation for another day. But on to Saturday night. The last pay-per-view for 2024 for UFC 310. Oh my goodness. So many things to talk about on this one. Just, gotta start at the top. The reason why we were all here, I don't really think so, honestly, with the co-main event. But it was a very good reason to be here with the main event.
Yeah, it's like, I feel bad saying it that like I was obviously more excited for it, but I love Pantoja. Yeah. So I was so excited for this fight, Kai coming in. Like But obviously, co-main event just had a whole different set of feels to it.
For sure. Main event, Alessandro Pantoja looking to get the third title defense on his flyweight, just title defense, taking on Kai Asakura. He does get it done, retains 3 defenses in a row, gets the second round rear naked choke, I believe the 8th on his record, his first finish in all of his UFC title fights, so just a nice little thing there. Obviously, Kai coming in, his UFC debut, a whole lot of questions with how he was going to perform against the top guy in the UFC, and hasn't made the flyweight weight in 7 years or something like that. He
weighs in 124.5, no problem.
Yeah. Bruh, seeing a post that fucking apparently an hour after weigh-ins, he gained 11 pounds already, just absolutely ridiculous.
Just fucking insane.
Dude is big.
Yeah.
Dude is big. Like, you could see that in the face-off in the middle of the cage when they were, right before they started, just like, oh, shit, he's big. And then they start the fight, damn near immediately throws a flying fucking knee, and you're just like, how the fuck did Pantoja eat that?
Yeah, we knew that Kai coming in, kill or be killed, he's going to be fun. He said himself that he knows the one thing he has over Pantoja is that one knockout shot, which is actually pretty funny because it's like he did land really big strikes, but easily Pantoja was the one to land the one single shot that actually do more damage and have more impact over Kai. But yeah, like you said, Ginger, that fucking flying knee to start it, the sound of that shit, listening to it live, and then for Pantoja to just grab the leg and go in for a takedown afterwards, it's just like, what the fuck, bro? Like,
bro, it made me so happy because it's like, yeah, all the times of you being like, no, when is the damage gonna add up? When is Pantoja's chin gonna crack? Like, this could be the one. And I'm like, no, bro, like, it's not happening. When I saw that Kai said he's gonna win because all he needs to do is just one shot, knock him out, I was like, that's why you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose this fight. And what happened? Like, oh my god, it made me so fucking happy. And no, not even like on a hateful side, but just like the yes, like I knew it. I fucking love Pantoja. Like, no, he's not good. No.
Go.
No, I was gonna say, I thought like when he was talking about it and talking about the one shot, like I knew he was talking about just straight because he has knocked people out, but like the body knees, the going to the body, things like that, because we have talked about that multiple times.
Oh yeah.
Landed a couple shots, but nothing like not continuously going to it.
Yeah, but he did land 2 or 3 good knees to the body, which it's like, with having the thought, like, Pantoja doesn't react good, I really thought that he would react more to those than what he gave him.
So it was funny because, me and Jimmy were talking about it, and it's like, we've seen him react way more, and then with this, it seems like he didn't have any reaction, like, it was just whatever. I wonder if it had to do with, a lot of times when we see him react, it's generally a big just punch to the stomach, like someone lands a clean hook. And I wonder if it, with it being a clean hook, it's just like, that smaller pinpoint, the knuckles digging in, whatever, and like actually hitting the liver, opposed to just throwing a knee and it landing more so like the stomach area or whatever, and that being something Pantoja's like, I don't give a shit,
Right,
just not having the accuracy to really get that one spot where he's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I
feel like that just has to be like the factor in it because, bro, the just that one knee and he just blasted him as Pantoja was coming in and just gave no reaction at all. It like, because with saying of just how you were happy he got it done because of me talking about the damage. It's like, as soon as Asakura landed that knee and he just ate it like it was nothing, just my first thought was like, if he doesn't get like knocked out in this fight and is just fine, I'm done. Like, I don't believe that his chin is gonna get cracked like that. It's like, obviously it could still always happen, and but it's like, that is just no longer a factor I'm gonna be concerned about in going into any fight moving forward. I just can't be, man.
Because it's like that, and he would have knocked out anybody else. Damn near.
Yeah, like it wasn't the cleanest. It did land a little bit with the thigh, but it's like, either, like you said, either way, I do genuinely think anyone else top 5 or down, that specific scenario of them coming forward, head down into a takedown, and he jumps up with that knee, they're going down.
Because the thing is, it's like you said, the sound on that, there was clear impact with that.
Oh yeah,
we saw it in the Jack Della Maddalena and the Gilbert Burns fight. Jack didn't land the cleanest knee, but it still sat Gilbert down, and he got the fucking TKO because of it. That would have sat down damn near anyone else. Like,
yeah, man. But yeah, to the killer be killed fashion of Kai Asakura. the relentless pressure and the grappling of Pantoja. He knew that the grappling was going to be the way to victory, and this one was nonstop on it. Gets the second round submission, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, man, it just calls out DJ afterwards, saying that if he wants to prove he's still the GOAT, that he's the GOAT right now, so come test it. And DJ is like, I'm not doing that. Like, because I saw two different things, and like the first one was like, I was offered $2 million to come back. He's like, I just don't care to fight anymore. And it's like, yeah, man, what can anyone blame DJ to not give a single fuck to come back and fight anyone? It's like, dude has literally done everything. 11 consecutive 11 consecutive title defenses in the UFC flyweight division. Everyone's saying of how Pantoja cleared out the division. You know, Kai gets ranked in the top 10. He's going to be 10-0 against the top 10. You know what I mean? And it's like, he really has. But it's like just one of those things where championship fights and 5-round fights, it's different. Like, time, like just going out there over and over defending as the champion, you know what I mean? It's like dude is still 8 title defenses away from tying DJ.
No, yeah, for sure. And obviously like he knows that he's not at that record, but it's also like, and it's not the same way that DJ's cleared it out, but it's one of those things where he has basically cleared out the division, and for the people that he hasn't fought, they're not deserving. They're mostly coming off of losses or maybe just one win. And it's like, you know, you get people that delusionally call out people that have retired all the time, but it's like, of all people to call out a retired guy, it kind of just makes sense.
Oh, for
You know what I mean? Like, even if it's not going to happen, at least just throw it out there, because you never know. It's like, you know, Pantoja's going to have to sit out and wait for a contender at this point. Like, unless they're just going to be like, you know what, Kai Kara France, that one win was good enough. The only win he has over you is an exhibition MMA. So let's get a pro fight in here. Like, technically new and new for the UFC. Like,
exactly. And because it's like, with them bringing in Kai Asakura to fight him, it's like nobody had a problem with that, because like to your point, there's no one else that anyone is really excited for to watch Pantoja fight. He's beaten everyone. So it's like, to call out DJ, if he wants to call out the winner of Umar and Merab, you know, it's like whatever he wants to do, even if it doesn't, like, you know, just involve defending his title, like, or like against a legitimate top 5 contender. It's like he has deserved that right to do so.
That's it. Like, what else are you going to be able to do? Like, there's, like you said, almost no one else left in this division. Like, that's Sommai who's on the come up, who would maybe make an interesting fight. But that's really about it at the bottom of the division, like in the middle of the top 10, because then you have to start going down into the 11 to 15 range, and it's like no one there's ready for that jump yet.
And that's why I said sit out until there's a contender, because it's like, even with the Sioux, it would just be the same aspect of like, okay, this guy that has a couple wins, nothing super good, but he's number 7, he's a new fight, so let's give him to Pantoja like we did with Usyk, you know? And if he loses, then it's just like, oh, well, what were we doing giving this guy to the champion? And you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I feel like a Sioux would have to fight somebody in the top 5 and then get it, or, you know, with Kai, if they want to just give it to him or give him one more fight. Amir and Tyra, coming off of losses, have to put together at least another 2-fight win streak of good wins. You know, it's like, it's kind of sucks for Pantoja. And it's like, I think it would be an interesting fight with him versus Merab, but obviously with him going to defend, it's like, well, we'll see where that goes. He's obviously a small flyweight, so like it just sucks with that, because while I'd be interested in it, I know he'd be so much smaller than them, that it just almost kind of takes away the interest in certain fights, you know?
No, for sure. And it's like there's just too big of fights, like rematches with Merab against Piotr and Sean O'Malley hanging around too, that it's like he's just not going to really get that opportunity. But it's like, in the next year and a half, we can easily have some people that are like, okay, we want to see this fight, but that's the thing. It's potentially a year and a half away. It's like bringing up a Sioux. It's like, you know, he could easily, he just beat Nicolau. So it's like, you know, he can possibly go, maybe he gets like a Brandon Royval fight, you know, and then he is able to beat him. Then obviously that's an interesting thing, but it's like that has to happen first, you know? And
exactly. And it's like Pantoja's just 34 years old, turns 35 in April. It's just, one of those things.
So
I think I think Sioux gets an Amir Albazi fight first, before like a Royval.
Probably.
I was thinking Amir Albazi too.
Yeah.
That was the thing when that fight with Moreno happened with Albazi. We were kind of like, we wanted Moreno to win because we love Moreno, but we were also like, it might be better for the division if Amir wins.
That's how it's been with flyweights this whole
I
fucking year. Are you
know.
kidding me? Like, I want
Every
this person
single
to win, but it would
fight.
be so good if they did, if the other person did, you know? Like, even with this one, it would have been great for the division if Kai Asakura won.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's all fresh matchups. But I love Pantoja. I wasn't about to vote against him. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
right.
It was like, in terms of contenders, the only one where like it actually lined up was fucking Tyra fighting Royval.
Yep,
You
that was
know,
the
where it's
only
like,
time I
okay,
was like, I want Tyra to win.
yeah,
Yeah, because
Sorry, Royval.
it was one of those. It's better for it if they win, and we love Tyra, so
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's one of those things where, especially at the title picture, flyweight's kind of all fucked around right now. But either way, it doesn't matter how the fights really go. They're always just good, fun fights, and so it's like, yeah, you know, didn't really feel like this one had the most meaning to it, but it's like, can't say it wasn't fun while it lasted, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Going on down to the co-main event.
Where all the vomit feelings were.
Oh my goodness. We had so many questions heading into this one between 18-0 undefeated Shavkat Rakhmonov.
I
and
almost have
15-0.
more questions now.
I,
We can get into it and
Yeah.
I'll explain. But,
but yeah, taking on Ian Garry, both undefeated heading into a 33-0 combined, the most wins, like, you know, just between two unbeaten fighters in UFC history going after it. Motherfucking Shavkat gets the unanimous decision win, 3-2 over Ian Machado Garry. The first time he's ever taken to the judges' scorecards in his MMA career.
and it's a 5-round fight.
Yeah. There are so many different things to talk about with this one.
I feel like we almost should go round by round.
Well, so I was gonna say, like, I feel like with overall, you know, with the fight, I feel like the first thing to really say is Ian Garry made Shavkat look very human and extremely beatable.
Yes.
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 And I mean, that does make a lot of sense considering they've trained together and all that. Like, if anyone's going to make him look that way, and it's not just someone who's way better than him, it's going to be someone who's been a teammate of his and knows, like, this is what he does. I can neutralize this aspect of his game in this area, blah, blah, you know, all that. So it's like, it makes sense that it's Ian that does this.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I feel like Ian does not get enough credit for being a smart fighter.
Yes.
Where he is young, he is willing to learn, and he is trying to learn. He goes all around the world to different countries and different people and different gyms and training partners to get all different styles and just views of learning, people teaching him, all different coaches. Like, you see people that obviously, you know, like, there's no problem with sticking with one gym. Like, those people know you, they know how to teach you, whatever. But like, when you are getting all different looks from all different styles and you are willing to learn from all of these, bro, how could you not make a great game plan in front of you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not given enough credit to him.
100%. Like, the fact that some of, like, you know, his biggest just like mentors in terms of like fighting and people that he's trained with being Gilbert Burns, Damian Maia, and Charles Oliveira. It's like, yeah, they're all Brazilian fighters, all fighting out of different places. I'm not sure if Damian Maia and Charles Oliveira trained together, but I don't think so. But either way, just having like so many different fighters in different ways, like just how they fight are all entirely different. Like, just so many different people to get knowledge from, like you said, going all around the world. Like, you know, there was the whole like fucking like confrontation or whatever with just like Leon's camp, you know, like kind of talking about him like a year ago at this point or whatever. But even still, just like going there to get the looks in, training with Gilbert at Killcliff, where it's like, yeah, Usman trained there at a point, Shavkat, Gilbert, Vicente Luque, I'm pretty sure Michael Chandler like,
was there.
You know, just so many amazing top level fighters going into Brazil, training with Damian Maia, Charles Oliveira. Like, yeah, man, it's just extremely smart for him to be like, no, there's so much I can learn all over the world, so why would I not do that?
Yeah. And it showed in this fight
100%.
because he is the first person in 19 fights to make Shavkat look like a human.
Yeah.
The first person to take him to a decision, the first person to he was really shutting down Shavkat's grappling. Like, he didn't get a takedown until round 4.
I thought so.
I wasn't sure if it was 3 or 4, so I just wanted to double check that. But yeah,
because like, I feel like something with, you know, Ginger, like you're saying, of, you know, like it makes sense that it was Ian because it's someone that's trained with him. Shavkat is very good getting people to the cage and then tripping them out using the clinch with the grappling to get them down and then secure positions. Ian Garry was all over all of that.
Yes.
Shavkat could not do shit to him in the clinch. Ian even able to reverse position out a few times. Like the fact that Shavkat at points was able to get double underhooks and he's not just dragging him to the floor.
Yeah.
Like his just grappling defense with the clinch work was amazing in this one. Like you said, of him not getting a takedown until the 4th round, it wasn't until then because Shavkat actually took a legitimate takedown shot and shot a double leg on him and was able to get him down. I feel like that was just something where like that's not normally what Shavkat has to do to people, so it was just a mix up in the grappling style that Ian wasn't ready for at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
But then like going into the rounds and where like certain things, because it was round 1. They were obviously being very patient at first, like surprisingly patient, because I think it's not surprising when you have 2 high-level guys, especially undefeated, and even especially guys that have trained together, to give each other the respect, and it might take them a little bit longer to get into a fight than it normally does, you know?
Yeah.
But it took way longer than I ever expected it to, and it was just, so Shavkat he pushed him up against the fence. That's when Ian was doing really well to just defend everything, but he got 3 minutes and 20 seconds of the control time just up on the fence. The most meaningful thing in that fight was Shavkat landed a giant right hand that just immediately had Ian's face just like swelling up under the eye, like bruising up, I mean. It was just noticeably impactful, but that was like easily the biggest thing of that round. Shavkat won that by control time and having the biggest shot. Second round, kind of the same thing. A little bit more was thrown, but again, it was just like when Shavkat landed anything, you could tell that it was immediately just putting damage on Ian. He, like I said, his eye was swelling up. Then he has a mark over here. He has a bruise on his back from a random just being held. His fucking shorts ripped down the back. And like, if that was like, you know, a Shavkat pulling on his shorts, you know, Ian Garry would have complained. There would have been a replay. It was simply just the strength of his grip trying to pick him up and move him. Just, you know what I mean? Like ridiculous. But again, it was like just not much was going on. So Shavkat again won by the less control time, but had still more in that round and then just landing the bigger shots. Like it was just not much in the first 2 rounds at all.
It wasn't.
Because it's like, the significant strikes, like, round 1, Ian Garry actually outstruck him in terms of significant strikes every round other than round 4. But 3-2 round 1 and then 10-9 round 2. It's like, like you said, extremely surprised how hesitant they were to actually get going in the fight throughout the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
because then it was round 3. Ian came out like, no, I have to fucking do something. And he was doing stuff, you know. Shavkat again just had the least amount of control time in that round with 1 minute and 11 seconds, but Ian Garry was just doing real good at staying out and just landing his own shots. Not much grappling or clinching at all in that round.
The round 3 is when Ian really started to make the leg kick start working. Because like I thought, like, you know, in my head it was that one where he really started to get going. A few of them Shavkat giving really good reactions to, of like that they were actually
7
bothering
out of 11.
And then like when it 14 significant strikes that round, like you said, 7 of them were leg kicks, so it's like half of his significant strikes were from leg kicks. But just doing much better, like you said, not getting like clinched up and just, you know, like controlled too much of that one. And then, round 4, Shavkat mixing up the takedowns, actually being able to secure takedowns in that one. But just even still not able to do too much. He had a few moments of like trying to posture up and get like a few shots off and was able to land.
I was going to say, he did get off like a little bit of ground and pound. That definitely is what swayed it, because I think there was enough time that potentially a judge, like, you know, that would have been a real swing round of where it could have been a split decision instead of the UD, because if it was strictly control time, I don't know if he would have gotten the round, you know, but it was because he started letting off the ground and pound, like, and, you know, good shots when he did land them, that it was like, okay, this is Shavkat's round.
100%, because 14 significant strikes landed that round, 10 of them were from ground and pound. So, you know, like, that's where the meaningfulness of that round via damage came from Shavkat for sure. And then round 5. Oh
Scary.
my fucking god. Bro, like, all I could think of during that was how Ian said that he was gonna sub him late in the fight, and how when that was brought up to Shavkat in the media day, he called him delusional for it. And oh my bro, it's just one of those things where it was like, we watched Ian Garry get the back of MVP multiple times in his last fight and not come close to a submission, like a
Not at all.
legitimate submission over him. That was so close of him getting
my
Shavkat
God.
out of there,
Yeah,
man.
because Shavkat just immediately wanted to go in for the takedown.
Mhm.
And then, the way that Ian Garry wrapped up the ninja choke, right there, my heart sunk into my stomach. But Shavkat just rolled out of it, and it was like, oh, okay. Went for the takedown again, Ian on the fucking guillotine. And then it was
Yeah.
like, got to the ground, and it's like, is this tight or no? And then Shavkat pops his head out. It's like, okay. And then, just the scrambles to actually take the back, secure that body lock in real fucking tight.
Oh yeah.
And then just go for the neck. And it looked like he was never under the chin, but with every attempt, it got closer and closer.
Yes.
And I was just getting so mad at Shavkat because, like, when it first started happening, he wasn't worried about him going on his neck. He's fighting the feet. He did not want to get locked up in the body triangle while Ian's up here locking it up anyway and getting his arms more secured for the RNC. And then when it came to the RNC, he's fighting the hands up here and not pushing the elbow up at all to make sure that it's not getting lower and lower. And we're just watching it go from here to here to here, and it's right on. And then he just broke the hands, and it was like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Ended up turning in, and it was like, okay,
No,
Ian won this round, but you should have 3-2.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And it's like,
okay, Shavkat, you dramatic bitch. Why are you making me go through this right now?
and because I feel like, because that's really the thing, is that it's like, obviously with us really wanting him to win and with how close it was of just being that stressed, but in all reality, that was like him being good at grappling, and like he's the one that's in there and can feel where it's at and like everything. Those were the smart things to do. Yeah, Ian's wrapping it up, but it's not under his chin. He knows that it's just pain, so he's not gonna. So it's like, he's just like, I cannot let him get the body lock and secure this position, because then I'm forced to like work with fighting the hands and deal with this longer. So he's going to that, obviously stretching this out, and then it's like, he has to fight the hands to break the grip. So it's
I get it. He did the right thing, but
things to stay alive
in
there.
the moment, though, like the way my heart was
God.
beating, I'm like, no, it can't end like this. So like, obviously afterwards looking at it, I'm well aware that he did the right thing, but in the moment, I'm like, Shavkat, come on, please don't let this happen.
No, I
like,
know.
just so emotional about it.
It really, like, because it was like fighting the body lock, where it was just like, okay, bro,
that
like
he
I
did
know
for
you
too
have to
long.
do that, but it's like this is getting real close here, and but yeah, it just, at the end of it, 3-2 in favor of Shavkat. I was so goddamn worried that the judges were gonna pull some bullshit, because boy, did they pull some bullshit earlier. We will get into that
right before it.
But yeah, it unanimous decision, 48-47. Felt a little bit better about that, but you still never know. Goes to Shavkat. We have been all over the Shavkat train, and it's one of those things where it's like, just saying like he's gonna be smashing these people, he's gonna become champ, all of these things. This was definitely a fight where it's like, I still believe that he's gonna be champion one day, and he's still gonna fuck up a lot of people, and he's still probably gonna mostly get finishes. But it's just reevaluating where he is actually at with his skills in the division, because with how this fight played out, I don't think he probably has close to the cardio to go 5 rounds with Belal Muhammad, and I don't think he's even close in the wrestling to handle what Belal Muhammad is going to bring to him.
Yeah, because I totally forgot, but that was something that I wanted to bring up going into the first round. I don't know what was going on with Shavkat, and I wish that we like could kind of like get answers, but I know he's not going to talk about it, you know what I mean? But like, after Shavkat was clinching Ian for a couple minutes, after that and throughout the whole rest of the fight, it was like every couple seconds, like he'd do something and then he'd bring his arms down and just shake them out. His arms, like his hands were just so much lower than they normally were. And just the shaking out of the arms, literally, like, I don't know, just like multiple times every couple minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it was pretty fucking crazy just watching him like throw a shot and then be like, oh, let me shake my arms out. Let me put my hands up here, but actually now they're down here and now they're here. And wait, let me bring them up. Like, it was just wild.
Yeah.
Because that started in the first round. It wasn't like this was round 3, round 4, and it's, oh, this is the longest he's gone. This makes sense. Like, it happened in the first round after 3 minutes of clinching.
Yeah, I am curious about that. I do wonder if partially that was, arms gassing out, but also partially just like, okay, Ian's not doing anything. He's not doing enough for me to get my game off. Let's see if I can, drag something out of him by dropping my arms, doing so. So then he potentially like extends on
Because
something.
even when he
but,
went to the corner, like in between rounds, his
no, they
coaches
were
were
doing it.
shaking his arms out real crazy. Like that's and I don't know, because even with like gassing his arms out, like it's something that you see and it makes sense. But at the same time, Shavkat's not just a first round finisher. You know what I mean?
No.
We watched him go almost the 15 minutes with a fat boy, Jeff Neal, who weighed in over 4 pounds. Like, you know what I mean? And he wasn't doing nothing like that. Like, we watched him stand on the cage and try to drag Stephen Wonderboy Thompson down and not be able to, with second round, be able to do it and get him out of there and not act like that. I don't know. I wonder if, like, having the year off, maybe if he was just in the gym for too long and just ended up like kind of not being in shape because he did too much for it, or like
just overworking,
or just like overworking himself, like leading into the fight, or just I don't know. It was just really weird to see, which is where one of my questions were raised, because it's like, he didn't necessarily look like tired in the sense of his cardio was gone, but his arms were done after 3 minutes. What the fuck happened? Like,
no, that's
I don't know.
That's good.
And then it's like, with how patient he was being, it's like, now you bring out Bilal, the way we just saw him perform against Leon. If he can replicate anything close to that, what is Shavkat gonna do, man?
No, because it's like that's just what Bilal has been doing, is just pushing the pace on these guys and just doing more than they can deal with. And it's like, it's one of those things, because he's going to be so in front of him and just so active, also not having the size and length of Ian Garry. It's like, he's going to be way more there for Shavkat to potentially get something off, like, but it's, if Shavkat can't find those big actions to get Bilal out of there, I'm easily favoring Bilal over a 5-round fight with Shavkat.
And I can see that. The one thing I will say is, we know that Bilal can be knocked out. We've seen him get KO before, TKO before, so like there is that aspect of it. They haven't like trained together like these two have, so they knew like, oh, when I would do this shot is what always caught me. This shot, you know what I mean? So you are going to be hesitant in that front of throwing certain things at certain times, because if I just throw this out naked, I'm going to get hit with something.
For sure.
So it is one of those things where I do think like there is that aspect of it. But the cardio thing, I do agree with you on. Like, it is what it is situation, just because Bilal has great cardio, and if you can weaponize that shit, weaponize it.
No, that for sure is going to be the game plan for Bilal, to just over Shavkat. Obviously, they brought Bilal into the cage. That's going to be the next one. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long to get that one booked either, with Bilal being good to go now at this point. Man, let's see what happens.
Being completely disrespectful, saying that the guards didn't know he was champion.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
So funny.
So crazy.
But yeah, Ian Garry losing his O, taking the first loss of his MMA career. No shame in that, in losing a 5-round decision to Shavkat. And I genuinely believe that, because I feel like it's probably one of those things where they've trained together, and like he obviously knows how good Shavkat is, and it's one of those things where it's like in the media day, there was like one like line that Ian said. He was just like, oh, like, we're both undefeated, like, let's go out there and like let's have fun or something. And it was just like, I don't ever remember him saying something like that before.
No,
like, he's always very confident, like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna whatever, and like he just had that, like, not like the words just not being as brash and open about his confidence.
I think he just had the respect for Shavkat, which he should have had. It obviously even showed in the fight. But it's like, I think that he knows that there's no shame in losing to Shavkat. And I think that it was a huge moral victory to be the first person to not only take him to a decision, but like you said, make him look human and be the closest one to even finishing him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, even though obviously Shavkat won 3-2, overall, Ian was much closer to finishing Shavkat than Shavkat ever was to finishing Ian.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact.
Yeah, Pride rules, Ian could have easily won that fight, because like
one championship rules, it's like, if it was ruled as a whole, it's like he was the closest one to finishing that fight, you know? So I think that he should take pride in that, because it just shows
100%.
that he's at a certain level. And it's like we said before, he's 26. He goes all over the world for training. I'm sure he's incredibly coachable, and he's going to become a much better fighter from this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited for the rematch. Shavkat even said it in his post-fight press conference. He was just like, I'm going to keep winning. If he keeps winning, we'll meet again soon. Like, he knows that rematch is only a couple fights away for both of them, realistically. Like,
yeah, man.
And like, that's kind of the other part of it is just like, when he was talking about, let's go out there, have fun, we're both undefeated, all that. also just like, yeah, they used to train together. They probably actually have like respect for each other in that way, because a lot of Ian Garry's opponents that he's been fighting, he hasn't really trained with almost any of them before.
And I was
yeah.
gonna say,
He's
have you ever seen
just like,
Ian win a fight and then just like drag the dude down? Like he made Shavkat sit down with him. He's
Yeah.
like, no, come on, sit. Like
No,
Shavkat
yeah.
looked like he was tired and upset that it went to a decision, and Ian's like, sit down and respect this. Like
Yeah.
I know. I did think that was kind of funny because yeah, Shavkat looked much more tired at the end than Ian, and he's just like, yeah, just like, you know, forced him down, like started talking or whatever, and then he made him get back up and put his hands up to walk around, and I'm just thinking Shavkat's like, yo, leave me alone, like I'm tired, I don't want to go up and down.
it's like, I don't understand
For
anything
real.
you're saying to me, bro. Shut up.
Ian's just like, maybe if I speak Portuguese, he might understand more.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's go. Yeah, man, it wasn't the most exciting fight overall, but there was just big moments in there. It was a good technical fight, and yeah, like just so excited to see what both of them can do moving on in their careers. So much time, so many great fights. Going on down to the featured bout, heavyweight fight. Yeah, man, as soon as I heard Volkov in the lead up say that he had the wrong game plan to fight Ciryl Gane and he's got the right one this time, I was just like, oh, fuck, this man's grippling. And because then, like, I heard that and I double checked the stats in the first one, and it was actually Ciryl Gane. I'm pretty sure that went 0 for 4 on takedowns in that one. Volkov, no takedown attempts in their first one. That was a 5-round fight. This one, only 3 rounds on this pay-per-view. And, bruh, I feel so bad for Volkov because he performed so well in this fight, getting the takedowns on Ciryl, getting good moments, landing big shots on him, just making the fight entirely different from the first one. It just like, as I was watching it through the first 2 rounds, it was just like, yeah, this is not just a continuation of the first one, and like it's not going to be just basically round 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? It's like an entirely different fight between 2 more improved fighters at a different point in their career, and especially Volkov being more improved.
Yes.
No, yeah, 100%.
It was just crazy. I will say that I feel a little bad for Ciryl Gane because he's going to receive such unnecessary hate. Yep. He knows he lost this fight. Dana knows he lost the fight. The world knows he lost the fight, but he's not the one that judged the fight.
Yes.
He did not rob Volkov. The judges did. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, literally, they announced he won, and he walked right out of the cage.
Yeah.
They were like, yo, come back. He got on the mic and was just like, I don't know. That I'm not impressed. You know what I mean? Like, he was upset about it.
Yeah.
Dana talked to Volkov, and he was like, you were fucked. You know, like, Volkov handling it like Volkov and said, maybe the judge likes his body more than mine. I love him.
Volkov.
Yeah.
Volkov is hilarious.
Yeah, man.
He has secretly been like one of the most hilarious fighters in the UFC, and no one talks about it.
Yeah,
bro,
so
I appreciate it. Just watching his Instagram, he's posting him in the jacuzzi with a bunch of rubber duckies, and just like the picture of the chill guy meme, like in the jacuzzi next to him, talking about, I'm just a chill guy who likes to splash around with ducks. Like,
yeah, it just sucks. I really do hope that this is one of those fights where the UFC does the right thing and just acts like Volkov won.
I think they're going to.
I feel like they have to. It's just like with Ciryl losing, you know, just his 2 undisputed shots at the title. He has the 1, you know, like interim title win that he had. It's just like nobody wants to really see him fight for the title. And yeah, with how Volkov performed, everyone thinks that he should have won. It's like, yeah, bro, you gave fucking Jose Aldo the title shot after losing a decision to Marlon Moraes because you thought that he won. Do it to Volkov, man.
Yeah.
No, for
and
real.
I mean, even with that, it's like, who even knows what is going on with the heavyweight title? Because who knows if Tom's even going to want to defend the interim again, or if he's just willing to sit out and wait for these negotiations to fall through and either get the Jones fight or just become undisputed.
Yeah,
so with that,
sucks.
it does. But it's like, who knows if they'll offer Volkov just kind of an easy fight, you know, like, yo, you want to get back on the winning track, and he just wins in a more impressive fashion than Ciryl Gane did. So hey, you know what I mean? Like, that's also possible if Volkov also just wants to fight and be active.
Yeah, because if it's not going to be for the title, and just stay active, winner of Gilton and Sergey.
Yes, you know,
yeah,
something like that.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Heavyweight division, we got a whole lot of time and a whole lot of months before that plays out. So it will be there's going to be a whole lot of times on this podcast over the next probably 5-6 months where we'll be like, yeah, we'll see what happens. But let's go. Next 2 fights on the pay-per-view, easily nowhere near as big or meaningful as the ones above it. But with this first one, I was so hoping that it was gonna be better than what it was.
Was it on the pod that we were talking about it and Ginger said that maybe Bryce will fight smart, or was this just a random
it was on the pod.
Yeah,
and we just laughed about it, and it's like the flat earther, the guy that rolled his nuts up in a screwdriver, or not a screwdriver, a drill. Like, what was it? About 30-40 seconds into the first round, 4 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock, Bryce right in on the takedown.
Well, it wasn't even him on a takedown. It was just like they got in on each other. It became like a clinch, and fucking
well,
Kron
he definitely went in for the clinch, looking like he was trying to clinch, and then Gracie just immediately pulled guard and pulled him down. So, like, either way, he engaged in clinching and getting that close and kind of going for that and initiated grappling. Like, of course he did.
Yeah, even though in the post-fight press conference, his post-fight speech, he said, I didn't even want to go to the ground with them.
Oh, which was so funny, because why would you clinch up then?
Bro, I know, like, literally every single round, like, they're striking, and then they get close, and Bryce is like, I'm gonna grab a body lock.
Yeah.
And then Kron is like, you're hugging me. I'm gonna pull guard. And then Bryce is like, okay, we're going down. Like, it was like it. Because it's like, I know that you were saying that it was just like, oh, why the fuck are we doing this? There's no reason, all that. And it's like, I definitely get it. But it was like, for me, just one of those things where, yeah, Bryce having the terrible loss, that it's like, okay, giving him a bounce back. But, and like, I knew that this fight could end up being bad and like just playing out bad because of just the styles. But I was just hoping that we would at least get more fun. This was, in my opinion, the worst possible way for this fight to play out. Every single aspect of it, like with round 1, just like we said, body lock down, boring, doing nothing on the ground. Okay, because it's like, yeah, Gracie just has the jiu-jitsu, but it's MMA in 2024. If you're not a fucking absolute idiot that's like, I'm gonna fucking just put my arms right here, like on the mat and like next to your head, and it's like, oh, armbar, and like, I don't know what I'm doing, and you know, like, you're not gonna get subbed by a Gracie at this point.
Right. And it's just funny because like the strikes are so untelling, because the strikes are 64 to 41 total, not significant or 6-2. But it's like, yeah, because they would get that, but then Gracie would just hold on to him so hard that all he could do is just bop bop at the stomach the whole time, while Gracie would just at the head when he could, and then back to holding. Like,
so it was just like, first round, boring. Okay, yeah, it was just like, okay, I guess this is how this fight's gonna go. Second round, body lock, guard, and then Kron actually almost got a fucking armbar on him.
I would have popped. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, it was just that moment of like, yeah, said it where it's just like, bro, I feel like with Bryce being stupid, he might actually get subbed in this one. And I was thinking about doing it on Tapology. I didn't commit. I went with Bryce by decision. And then I'm watching. I'm just like, I should have fucking committed. Like, what the absolute fuck, Bryce? Like, are you goddamn kidding me that you're about to get subbed by Kron Gracie in fucking 2024? But he gets out of it. It was fine.
And then it was the same exact thing.
I was about to say, the only reason I wanted that to happen so bad when I saw it happen, when he got into the armbar, was, see what you did, UFC? Now lie in the bed you made. You have Kron Gracie in the top 15 off a 2-2 record after losing 2 straight in terrible dog shit fights.
Yeah, then he would have to fight Danny Gay, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
He would get fucking uppercutted out of the cage. But but yeah, so it was just like, okay, like, it's just like, this is fucking terrible. And then round 3, Bryce makes the adjustment. He's like, I'm gonna grab the body lock. And Kron's like, I'm gonna pull guard. But then Bryce is like, I know you're gonna do that. Let me frame across and just slam you into the fucking mat.
Yeah.
Like, Kron, like, it's just because like, I don't know, on the broadcast and everything, they were acting like he went out from the elbow right after. He was done.
Yeah, he was out from getting slammed on the back of his head.
Yeah. The other elbow just made it obvious.
Yeah, fucking arms went, out, like, elbowed him completely unconscious. That shit was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
It was. But that's where it's just like, yeah, man, good for Bryce to get his first TKO KO win of his career, but fuck, that was just terrible on every single part.
Yeah, because the first round and the second round, 4 minutes and 23 seconds of control time for Bryce. Second round, 4 minutes and 6 seconds, because the exact same thing of, I'm gonna grab a clinch, and then Gracie's, I'm gonna pull guard, and then they sat in guard for the rest of the round.
Yep.
It's like, Bryce, how are you going to say you didn't want to go to the ground with him? I get the third time you did that on purpose, but it's like you did that twice and then stayed there. Like, not that you necessarily had an option, but like you did that.
Yeah.
That was your fault, brother.
Absolutely incredible. But yeah, just a meaningless, funny fight, I should say. You know what I mean? Just like, yeah, and then the ending just spectacular. So good for Bryce on that one. Kron should definitely just be out of the UFC at this point. Like, just
Kron, let him go to ONE. They at least have submission grappling over there.
Yo, Kron versus Garry Tonin.
So true.
I was gonna say Kron versus Shinya.
Kron versus Shamil. But let's go. Going on down.
He needs to go to Ryzen. You know why he needs to go to Ryzen?
For what?
So then he can lose to the son of Sakuraba.
That'd be really funny.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be actually absolutely beautiful. The Gracie killer's son fucking comes in and kills a Gracie.
Just pass on the torch.
That now, please make that happen. That would be awesome.
Please, Ryzen.
But opener on the pay-per-view, my boy Doohoo Choi taking on Nate the Train Landwehr. I was so goddamn impressed with Doohoo in this one, man.
Yes.
The striking looking great as always. The grappling looking on point in this one. I really thought he might get a first round knockout with the way that he was touching up Nate, man. It was
Nate's just tough for no reason.
Oh yeah, just eating so many uppercuts and hooks throughout that fight for just
got like flash dropped pretty quickly into the first round.
Yup. Yeah. It just absolutely nasty. Third round ends up getting the mounted crucifix, and he's just punching and elbowing for minutes on end, to the point where one of those things where Nate, to his credit, it's not like he just laid on his back of like moving his head like,
he tried.
Oh yes.
I was gonna say I did like a half like reverse worm from his back, just trying to shuck him off of him, just moving, and he really was trying to get out of there, which is why it lasted so long. But god damn.
But yeah, just ref had to step in at a point. Doohoo gets it done. Third round TKO, absolutely incredible. And it happened before the Bryce and Kron fight, but afterwards he called for a fight with Bryce Mitchell.
So it's nice that Bryce won.
Yeah, so I would love to see that fight on it. It's one of those things where it's like, I love Bryce, and it's just fun to watch. I don't want to see him get fucked up, but it's like Doohoo was one of my boys since I first started watching this shit fucking 2015, 2016, that it's like, I would absolutely love to see him go out there, get a beautiful win over Bryce, and get a ranking next to his name. Let's fucking go, man. I am so down for that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I still like my idea of Bryce versus Aljo next.
That is a good one. That is definitely a good fight. That's definitely a better fight for Bryce.
And I think Doohoo coming into the rankings could easily give him like an Edson Barbosa or a Giga. And I think those would both be great fights.
The Giga one I like more, but oh my god.
I know you do.
Bro, until that man is retired, I will be scared for anyone to fight him. Like, that's I don't care if he's fucking 46 years old. Like, he can still spin and wheel kick someone's head off.
I can't be mad at that. I understand where you're coming from, man.
But yeah, great for Doohoo. And yeah, just overall, main card, pretty damn solid for UFC 310. Gave us a nice little $10 off for the holidays, too. I appreciate that. Going on to the prelims,
this
though.
Just gave me the chills thinking about this fight. Sad.
Yeah, there was some sad shit, some bad shit, some great shit. Prelim headliner, Dominick Reyes, Anthony Smith. I knew it was going to be sad no matter what going in.
Yeah.
This was like extra sad.
Yeah, man. Just listening to Anthony Smith in the media day talking about everything, just fucking losing his friend, his mentor, just everything, like, and just the mentality coming into this one, saying that he's coming in here to break something, even if it's himself. Like, he does
break
not care.
And be broken.
Yeah, when he was just fucking put his hands like down and just having fucking Dom just punch him, and because Dom said that like he was just like, oh, punch me, like just saying that in there, and then he just basically obliged, but like just walking forward, eating those shots, like the chills and just the sadness in my heart watching that for Anthony Smith, man.
No, because the round one, like, that was bad enough watching him just do that and be so willing, like you said, hands down, of just like, yo, hit me, do it again, like. But then round two, the numbers on that are literally Anthony Smith 0 for 0 on total strikes to 119 of 150 from Dom.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. It was bad. That
Yeah,
second round.
Anthony Smith, again, just another guy too tough for his own good, was just doing enough to survive that it was like, okay, I guess the ref is like not going to stop it here because, you know, he's trying. But like at one point, bro, it was like he went down and then just stayed there. And then, you know, the ref didn't say, or the ref like was like, oh, you got to do something. And he stood up or whatever. And just Dom was just putting it on him. Like it was really sad.
Yeah, man. That absolutely broke my heart. Like even just thinking about it, I could just fucking cry again over it. Like that.
It was one of those situations where Anthony Smith was, one, doing enough to be able to stay in there, but two, Dominick Reyes not having good enough like ground control and ground game to do anything to Anthony Smith, considering Smith is a black belt and is actually really good on the ground. Like just Dom didn't have enough to be able to like take him off the cage, put him in like a full mount situation or something where it's like, you know, maybe gives his back and then takes the...
Because he was just kept going for the leg while he was getting punched. Like, you know, every time the ref was like do something, he's like, oh, go for the leg and like try for a takedown, but never succeeded. And then would just get punched back to the ground, and then he's like, oh, leg, like
that was just so rough to watch, man. It's just like to even just, you know, be like, oh, good for Dom Gane. It's like, yeah, it gets just another win back, you know, on track, getting a win streak together after just like the rough times and everything. But
listening to Smith afterwards, though, like that's when the tears came. I couldn't help it. That was really fucked up.
Rough.
Him saying that, you know, this is probably his last fight, you know, probably retiring because he just doesn't think that he can do this without his friend, you know? It's sad. And I also I hate when guys like him, like I get it, but when they just have that on the spot retirement so the UFC doesn't have time to do anything for him, because I'm sure that they'll put something together and maybe put it on the next pay-per-view or even fight night, but it just never hits the same as when they're in the octagon, and you know what I mean?
No, because it's like the thing with that is at least like he does work like on the desk and like does, you know, do the broadcasting. So it's like
at least he's there.
Just think about that. That's gonna just be a fucking such a sad moment, just that, you know what I mean? They'll probably do something, but it does hit different when it like right after the event and they're in the cage, and you know what I mean? It's
but at the same time, like I don't know how he would have been able to like just handle that emotionally at that moment.
So true.
Like
and no, and that's why, like, you know, like I totally get why he did it and even why other people do it, you know what I mean? But like, had it not been such an emotional thing, like, you know, it's just one of those things where Anthony Smith, just one of those guys that definitely deserves a send off. But I don't think that
he
would
does
for him in the moment.
I mean, he also probably came into this like probably thinking potentially about it, but if he won, maybe going for another 1 or 2, you know what I mean? And then, you know.
I don't like. I feel like I don't even know if that was on his head, because he was saying that he didn't care about winning. Like he just he just literally went in there for the violence that was going to happen that night. Like that was honestly, I feel like was all on his mind.
It was like his version of self-harming himself. Like
I kind of think that's what fighting has been for him. I'm not gonna lie, in certain aspects. A lot of times when he comes into like fights, like there's a lot of things that he's talked about where he's like, you know, right after losing, like I think it was one of his parents or another friend and all this stuff, and it's just like, it does seem like this is almost his version of like self-harm, or
because it's like there are those people that use those emotions to, like, you know what I mean, like fuel them for the fight, and the fight takes them out of it, and it really helps them. And like whether they get beat up, like they're still trying to win or whatever, but like to go in with the mentality of break or be broken, and then to just stand there and allow yourself to get broken and not have, you know what I mean, like that was straight up himself accepting harm. Like that was just him wanting to be hurt. Like
like with just him doing, like you said, just doing enough to stay in there the second round. It's like I feel like it was just that thing of like I don't want this to stop. Like
that's exactly what I thought. Like it was
man, it's so sad. Whatever he decides to do, just the best to him and his family, man. I just hope that just whatever he's getting paid, just being like, you know, at the desk and analyst, all that, like it's enough that he can just live a good life and just not have to do this anymore if he doesn't want to. It just best to him.
He also does the podcast with Mike Bisping, so like he should be getting enough from those that should be able to, you know, lead to a comfortable life.
But all the sadness, it sucks, but from the bad to the good, a fight that easily had the potential to be very sad, but
Yes.
it did not go that way at all. Vicente Luque coming back, taking on Themba Gorimbo. I just kind of had the feeling leading into it that it hit me in my heart, and I was like, you know what? Because it's being worried about Vicente and his brain and just taking more damage. And it's like, with just kind of bringing up in the preview, that's like, yeah, Themba actually isn't like some big knockout guy or anything. He does go for like a lot of takedowns trying to secure that. It hit me. I was like, you know what? Vicente's getting a second round Darce choke. And boy, it did not go that way at all because he slips a shot, bombs on him with the right hand, gets him hurt. He goes in, grabs the anaconda right away. 52 seconds, he puts him out, and that's it, man.
Yep.
Oh my fucking goodness. That was so great to see from Vicente Luque.
It really was, and I loved it, but I kind of hated afterwards because it's like leading up to it, all the questions. I was like, no, like Vicente has seen significantly higher levels than Themba ever has. He has fought so much better guys, and it's like even he's had a couple losses, rough fights, whatever. But Buckley, RDA, Jeff Neal, Bilal, Chiesa, Woodley, like you know what I mean. That's obviously going back to 21, but significantly higher level than Themba Gorimbo.
Yeah.
So I wasn't that worried about him, and then on top of the fact that Themba not being a knockout artist, and Themba took it short notice because it was originally supposed to be Nick Diaz.
Yep.
But what I hated afterwards he was just so hyped, like I'm back, I want top 10, top 5, and then just even seeing all of the validation of the Twitter comments of people and like what they're posting on Twitter of just people being like, oh yeah, Vicente's back, vintage Vicente, this was so great to see, da 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 da. I know Vicente is not old, and he's technically in his prime at, what is he, 32 years old? 33 now. But just turned 33. It's like Themba is not the top 10, top 5. So I know he did that and looked really great, and that's fucking awesome. But it's like he just kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't a great fight with Buckley. Buckley got him out of there. And that's at number 9. It's like I will worry about his brain issues higher up. That will be something that I'm like, oh no, this isn't good. And if he starts getting touched up too much, like, is it going to be like the Buckley one where it's like, yeah, he just pulled guard and it's just kind of over, and it's like, oh, this is weird to see from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just
like the Jeff Neal one, like who's just right there at number 11, like it.
Yeah, but Jeff Neal knocked him out 3rd round just 2 years ago.
No, but that's what I'm talking about though. Like,
oh yeah.
These guys are right above him in the rankings. Like, it's not like. And there are guys who are right outside the rankings who would be like, I don't want to see that.
I mean, yeah, and just like, back at like, fucking Michael Morales coming in, Carlos Prates coming in. It's like,
right, like that's
dangerous.
terrifying. Because then even let's say he wanted to go top 10 and it's like a Wonder Boy or a Gilbert fight where it's like, obviously less sketchy. And then let's say he were to win, who the fuck is after that for him? He's going to take an Ian fight.
Well, even then.
He's going to take a Jack fight, a Sean fight. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't like the immediate, like, let me go right back up, you know?
Sean, at least it would be, he gets double leg and just gets subbed.
That's
like,
so true, but either way.
That, but also, like, with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, lost to Wonderboy, like, badly. Not like just in a decision, but he was dominating that whole fight.
No, but I just knew that was going back like 5 years ago. Wonderboy just getting a bit older. That, like, if you wanted to do that one, okay, maybe it wouldn't be as bad this time. But it's just
I don't think so, because even in that one, Wonderboy shattered both of his hands on Vicente Luque's face in that one. So especially after multiple more handbrakes since that fight, there's no way that he can dish out the same punishment to him, like,
and that's kind of what I was thinking,
but it's also like, I don't know if Vicente can even take that same sort of punishment,
right?
Because
it's just, I don't know, man. I just don't like the immediate, let me get back into the top 10, top 5.
No, because it's like 100%. It was a very vintage performance from him, but it's like, just the levels, it's like, just you don't need to rush it. Fight a few more guys like that. Just build up the confidence, build up the fights, and then you fight. Then just give him a bigger push. Where it's like, okay, he's beating 3-4 guys out of the rankings, but give him a 7 or 6 or 5. You know what I mean? Like, just see what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think of like who are the other guys like right outside that top 50. Like,
I don't know. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but just the general statement of like, let's keep them.
I could easily
give
see
them
the
fights
UFC.
like
That's I could easily see that being like, oh well, matchup Vicente, Bryan. Here you go.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Honestly,
that's possible. Renat.
Yeah, like it's definitely still not easy outside the top 15 for sure.
No.
But yeah,
Just there are certain
great
fights I would
performance
rather
from
not
Sunday.
to see.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, gets himself a performance bonus, $50,000
Yes.
there, so that's definitely awesome too. Pantoja also getting himself a performance bonus. Didn't mention that. But next fight, big meaningful fight in the featherweight division. Movsar Evloev taking on Aljamain Sterling.
Yep.
I know so many people were not excited for that one, but I knew that was going to be some good fun. I was so excited to see how that grappling played out, and the exchanges in that one were just incredible. Back and forth, all 3 rounds. Movsar gets it done. UD, very nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I was definitely impressed with Aljo, and because he easily, again, just the first person to kind of like, well, not the first person, because obviously, you know, Diego was like throwing up the subs on Movsar, but I still think that Aljo looked a bit more impressive than him in here, because it's like him able to get his own takedowns. The first round was all Aljo.
Oh yeah,
he got that takedown and he was able to secure it. He was able to flow with it. Like, he did really fucking good. And then when it came to the second and third round, it was like he ended up getting 2 reversals in the second round. 1 of 3 takedowns to Movsar. He got 2 of 2. They were just, you know, the striking, like, you know, most of it was on the ground and just like little pitter patter ground shots. But like, I thought it was good. I thought the grappling was very exciting. I thought Aljo did very well and really proved that he can grapple in the 145 division. Obviously, Movsar just a little bit better, but
just great performance. Movsar improving to 19-0, and I just love the mindset of him just being like, yeah, I want that title shot. I'm ready for it. But he's just like, Dana doesn't want to give it to me. I'll fight till I'm 100-0. Like, he's just like, yeah, I don't care. I'll beat everyone you put in front of me. And it's just a great mentality to have.
Because at one point he will be undeniable.
Yep.
I mean, he's damn near undeniable now, because like
we know how they can drag it.
No.
Bryan Ortega, Diego Lopez just had a more exciting finish over Bryan Ortega, who's higher ranked. He's next. After Volkanovski. Like, you know what I mean? Just that simple.
Not disagreeing, but it's like, okay, Max is leaving the division, so that takes him out, right? So like, next up is he could fight Yair. He dominates fucking Yair.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, yeah, it's Diego Volk above him. If they both already fought for it.
No, yeah. And that's where it's just like, it's going to be Volk and Diego. That's like a whole year, you know, until Movsar gets his shot. You have Lerone Murphy get one exciting finish over, Yair or something in that time. And people are like, it's Lerone, you know, like, so we'll see what the UFC decides to do with him. But he definitely deserves that shot. And I would love to see him versus Ilya. Undefeated versus undefeated, man. Let's fucking go.
No, exactly. Like,
but yeah, and then like you mentioned, with potential opponent for Vicente Luque being Bryan Battle, he gets a split decision win over Randy Brown. Tough, grueling fight over the 3. It just another one of those things where you said of Bryan being like, oh, like, you know, I wasn't trying to grapple and stuff, but he was the one engaging it. Battle being like, I was surprised he clinched me so much. It's like, bro, you were grabbing so many clinches in that one too. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it just one of those things were very funny. Dana White saying that he didn't agree with this decision, but I thought that he did just enough to get it done. Just super close fight over the 3.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just super close overall. That it could have gone either way, and you couldn't really be mad at it.
Yeah. But yeah,
not quite the fight I expected, but also kind of not too surprising.
Yeah.
Bryan Battle had a very rough time on the scales. He weighed in at 175 and he looked awful.
Terrible.
This is his second time missing weight in his career. The first time was a short notice fight, and this one just a very quick turnaround because his last fight was the end of September. So I wonder, you know, and he even said it himself that, like, you know, there's just some things that he has to adjust. This was the quickest turnaround. So he really does have to get that in order because Dana does not like that shit.
Yep.
But yeah,
if he can't, maybe he should just give it some more time so that, you know, I feel like when it's short notice, it's harder to hold that against somebody. But
and like, he needs. It was like the day-to-day stuff. Like, it just needed tweaking because, like, he hasn't had to make a cut that quickly for this low of a weight before.
He just didn't look good on the scales though. The most sunken in I have ever seen him. Straight up looked like handsome Squidward. It was wild.
Yeah, it was so bad. Definitely seeing him like rehydrated for ceremonial weigh-ins.
It
like
made
how
me
much
feel a lot better. Yeah.
But yes, was still very nervous with how good of a striker Randy Brown is. But yeah, just did a real good job just nullifying all of that and just bringing it to a better game for him to get it done.
Yep.
But yeah, improving to 7-1 in the UFC now. Yep. 7-1, 1-0 contest. Just very solid fighter. Let's see if he can get himself a top 15 opponent next.
Yeah.
But yeah, just there was just so much on this card. Quick little mention: Eric Anders getting the ground and pound over Chris Weidman, taking his 7th KO TKO loss in his career, I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
It's time for him to hang it up, man. That was just it.
Dana,
It's enough. It's enough, man.
Dana was asked about was asked a question where he's like, where they're like 3 veterans taking losses today, and Clay Guida, Chris Weidman, and Anthony Smith. What do you think is you're gonna? And he's just like, they should retire.
Yep.
They need to retire.
Yeah, they really should. And with Clay Guida, we all knew it was going to happen, taking on Chase Hooper, first round armbar. God damn, Chase is such a monster, man. He is so fucking vicious with his grappling. I love to watch it every single fight. Calling out Jim Miller afterwards, too. Holy
Why does he want to kill all the old men?
It is fine.
I know that Jim Miller's a different old man. I know that he'd be winning. I know it's a lot of fun, but
he needs 5 more fights to hit 50, and he needs 3 more wins to hit 30. 2 fights he has to lose, and I'm so fine with Chase Hooper being one of them.
That's so true.
Yeah, Chase Hooper isn't going to put damage on him like that.
Yeah.
Unless it goes the fucking Slava Claus route, which I doubt would happen.
Nah, that's going to be so much fun grappling, man, right from the start.
100%.
But yeah, and I know for me, the last real mention of this card.
I was going to say, how are we going to skip over this? Because all of a sudden Chase Hooper got mentioned. I was like, yo, dog.
Well, because just saying
the
that,
Clay Guida, Weidman, and Smith.
So just, the quick one of that. But yes, this one.
It's Joshua game.
Bro, we've said it before, and I will keep saying it over and over again. Joshua Van is the only person in the UFC that has the potential to touch and possibly pass Max Holloway's significant strikes landed.
He's coming for that shit. I think it's happening. It's happening.
He has how many fights now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is the 6th fight in the UFC. Yeah. And he holds number 1 spot and number 2 spot for the most significant strikes landed in a flyweight bout, and this was his 2nd one.
And only 3-round fights. And he got controlled in
That's what I was just going to say. He broke his last record in this fight, and he literally got controlled for 3 minutes and 20 seconds of the first round. He outstruck, not all of them landed, Cody Durden by over 100 strikes, 223 to 323. And he got control, or 3 minutes and 14 seconds. But either way, after getting out of that, being off the ground, proceeded to go out there and land 46 of 65 strikes. Like, he's the only one that's touching those numbers.
Yeah. And because it's like with the one that he passed, Kevin Borjas had 21 seconds of control time over him. And it was actually Joshua Van going for the takedowns, getting a minute of control time and 2 of 4 on takedowns. So it's like even having the dominant position, getting literally the fight going perfectly his way, landing 156 significant strikes. And then, to your point of just getting controlled for all that time in this one and still outpacing it. It's like, brother, what the fuck can he do in a 5-round fight?
No, seriously. Because then on top of it, it's like he's young enough to be able to do it. Dude is 23 years old on his 6th fight. The only 2 fights that he did not go over 100 significant strikes were in a knockout loss and win.
Yeah.
So it's like, 5-round fight. And at the end of the 3, with all of these strikes, he doesn't look to be slowing down. He don't look tired.
Not even a bit. Not breathing hard. He's just fucking chilling, bro.
Chilling.
Bro, he's just a chill guy.
Yeah, he's just a chill guy, man. It's like... just a chill guy that wants to walk out with his flag. You know what I mean?
No, for real.
Let him bring his flag.
Bro, it's like, because right afterwards, he said that he wants top 10, top 5. I'm not really sure if he's going to get that. Probably too big of a step up. But it's like, for me, I would love to see him fight Steve Erceg next. I have that would be such a good, fun fight. I am so excited. I would be, just how that could possibly play out. And it's like, not next at all. But, just talking about what he could do over 5 rounds, bro, what are the numbers in a fight that he could put up against Brandon Moreno? Someone that's going to be willing to strike with him and that has cardio to go 5 and can go to war and will put on a fun fight. What the fuck are those numbers like 5 rounds, him versus Moreno? I need to see that in the next 2 years.
But he's the first person to throw 1,000 significant strikes in a fight. That's what happens.
He might be able to reach Max's numbers though on 448 on Calvin.
Landed or was thrown?
Thrown was 700 and something.
I was about to say I'm saying throne.
Well, yeah, landed. So then,
Yeah.
yeah, like out of the throne, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it was like
I mean, if he
400%.
lands at,
we might see some dumb, stupid numbers like
I was
that.
about to say, if he landed at 48%, that's 480.
Yeah,
Like-
it's like I don't know against Moreno if he could, because it's like Max being a championship
Sure.
caliber fighter fighting
Mhm.
Calvin, who's more of a top, like just back
And that
half
would be
top
the
10.
other,
You know,
flipped around.
Mhm.
yeah, and I mean it's like a little bit different where it's like Van's coming up, so he can obviously prove it, but I just think he needs a
Mhm.
less of a fighter than Moreno. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, man, I
Like,
am so excited to
you-
see him in this division, what he can fucking do. God damn, it's so good.
You say Steve Ursig, best I can do is Tim Elliott.
Yeah, bro, I don't.
I don't want to see that fight.
I don't want to see my boy get beat the fuck up, man. It's like I don't know if he can fucking skip and jog around backwards as Van just puts 18 shot combinations on him. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, but Joshua Van, such a delight in this flyweight division. He is just so much fun. Just so excited to see what he can do.
Him versus Tagir would be fun as well. Actually, now I think about it.
Like I feel like it's just Tagir. I don't think he has enough on the feet that it's like it's either he's getting the takedowns and controlling them, or he's gonna get run over. You know what I mean?
No, it's just like one of those things where it's like looking at like the bottom half. It's like you can't have him fight Charles Johnson. They just fought. Bruno Silva's fighting Manel Kopp soon, literally next week.
Yeah.
Which I mean, loser of that fight potentially, I guess.
Yeah, if Manel Kopp loses, I would have no problem seeing him fight Manel Kopp. That would be a fun one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how all that plays out. That is all of the best shit to bring up from UFC 310. I hope everyone enjoyed this one.
You're just gonna skip over the fact that I won Topology?
Oh, I forgot about
You didn't
that.
forget. I just watched you look at Topology. And its result. He just had that shit open. You just exited it out.
Oh,
There
I
it
was
is.
just
Yeah.
clicking through.
I just seen it pop up, and
buddy.
then you're like, "Oh, the end." I'm like, "Oh, you're a
Yeah,
piece of
yeah,
shit.
I
I won
did, yeah.
Typology."
Oh, wow. You beat me by 30 points. Good for
You
you.
only almost beat me because Cyril got the robbery decision,
That's all that
and
matters.
I still won. So
The
fuck out
judges
of here.
said that I almost should have won that
You
apology.
didn't believe in Pantoja.
I did not believe in Pantoja. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. I thought that guy might be able to get it done. I was going for the funsies.
Boo.
It is what it is. But Ginger coming in last out of the three of us. Did not reach double-digit correct picks out of the 14 fights.
To be fair, some of
Got
the ones
half of
that I picked wrong. A couple of them were split decisions. To be fair,
Yeah,
they
but
could have gone either way.
it's not the best night in the office. You did start off
Yeah,
real
I
hot.
started
with two
hot as
perfects,
hell.
and I was about to flip my shit. Oh my god! If that shit kept on going, that would have been terrible.
Start off with like 2 perfects, a semi-perfect, and then just
See,
getting
I
it
was
right.
okay with the 2 perfects because I also got those 2 perfects. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Terrible. Absolutely horrible. But let's go. That is it for this episode of the podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you did. And we will catch you on the next one, previewing the last UFC card of the year. UFC Tampa, Colby Covington main event. Let's go. Peace out, everyone.